as you set out in life to achieve goals and you have aspirations, there's things you want to do, there's passions you want to, fulfill, there's curiosities you want to explore. Understand that there's really one thing that is most important when it comes to these things. And for many people, we talk about things like being consistent, and that is important. But consistency doesn't happen unless you do one thing, and that is start. You have to start. And the issue also with being consistent is when you are in a space where you are starting something, right? You are at the beginning processes of, consistency, or you're trying to understand what consistency looks like for you, whether it be working out every morning, whether it be, spending time in a project and utilizing, okay, how much time I'm going to put into it, how often am I going to put into this project? You really have to figure out a system, right? You have to kind of get into a groove of it. And what's required of that, though, is to start. And even once you start the first time, there is a sense of still starting the second, the third, the fourth time, because you haven't figured out that groove yet. And the important thing and how it relates to your spiritual growth and fulfillment is maximizing the idea of the present moment, because the present moment is an opportunity for you to truly tap into fulfillment and happiness, and letting go of the old and letting go of assumptions of the future, right? The old things that happened that will never happen again, that it's over, it doesn't even exist anymore. But even the future that we spend a lot of time thinking about, but may never happen. And being in the present moment is significant because it is the only moment that is real. It is the only moment, the only time, the only thing that truly exists. So as we think about our goals and we think about our aspirations or even our passions, the things that we want to do in the current moment, we have to bring it back to starting, right? Pursuing it, actually taking initiative and taking action. But we have to connect that with the present moment. So we want to start, yes, but we also want to acknowledge that it is this moment that matters the most. So when you are starting something, though you have this grander idea of how you want to develop and how you want this thing that you're starting to manifest and grow and blossom, and you want it to get to a certain result, recognize that what only really matters is the current moment. So every time you start, which is actually every time you do something, even when you are consistent, recognize that the idea of consistency is in relationship to the past or the future, right? But since we are taking away those two elements of time because they really don't exist, and we only focused on the present moment, that means that every time we do a thing, we are starting. We are starting that thing because it is anew in itself, right? Even though we've done it maybe a few times, maybe a multitude of times, maybe a billion times, the fact that it has happened in the past means that it really doesn't exist, right? But if we have the plans of doing it more and more and more, that may not happen, right? Because that sense of future doesn't exist. It isn't real. It's just a figment of our imagination. Then it is ultimately insignificant. But the only thing that is now. And so as you pursue this curiosity or this passion or this thing, as you materialize it, manifest it, act upon it, it is only in this moment. So realize the understanding that the now is only in relationship to starting it at this moment. So starting it at this moment, or even keeping on doing it, keeping to continue doing something or to start doing something, it is in the now that matters the most. So that being said, the now is where you start. The now is all that matters. So it isn't about starting being concerned about others, being concerned about what has happened in the past, the time maybe you've wasted, or the time which has passed and you haven't gotten better, or you could have gotten better, or the future as far as how long it's going to take for you to get better. Those things don't matter. What matters now is the now. What matters now is that you start, is that you do. And every now that exists throughout your life is the opportunity for you to start again and start again and start again. And this is how you actually materialize the life, you materialize the desires, your passions, the things that you actually have materialized or envisioned already in your mind. You see, because that's the thing. It isn't about you eventually getting there. You are already there, right? It is you already being there in your mind and visualizing this concept, living out this feeling of already materializing the thing, already created the thing in your mind. It already is. And so you are simply physically, because we're living in the physical realm, you are physically just simply pursuing it, making it happen, bringing it to physical life in the now, because that is all that exists. And so you are aligning what's already in your mind, which already is, with the current moment. And over time, that current moment manifests in something, right? But it is not for us to really think too much about what that is later. What's most important is that we stay in the now, creating what we already have created in our minds. And that's how you get rid of things like anxiety, things like worry, things like wanting to have this thing. It is already created. It is already yours. It is in the now that you actually put it into physical practice, right? Physical form. And eventually, even though we don't want to lean too much into what that means or what that looks like eventually or how long that takes, it really doesn't matter because it's here. It already is, right? We are just doing it. We are just expressing it. And absolutely, eventually, though, it will manifest itself in physical form because that is ultimately what this realm is about. It is about bringing things from here to here. And it's not a matter of one being better than the other, one being real and one being fake. It's just simply an expression. That's it. It's just simply a different expression. And so as you go through life, just continue to be in the now and continue to associate the now as an opportunity to start, to do, all right, again and again and again and again. As each moment comes, there is each opportunity for you to create. Thank you so much. Continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.